Hello there, Aries. Happy New Year to everybody. It's good to see you. We've been chatting a little bit here in the live chat room before I actually went live. So it's been very nice to kind of talk to everybody. And this is a really great way to start the new year. I feel like this is really the beginning of 2020 here. I was a little bit in vacation mode last week, and I'm ready to come to work here and help everybody out. And I really am enjoying the live formats. One thing I was talking to one of my friends about is that it's such a pleasure to be able to show up and give you these readings ahead of time. It's kind of the difference between studying for an exam or coming there the day of and just winging it. I feel like now with giving you a little bit of a heads up, this is, by the way, for the February 2020 readings, by giving it to you in advance of February, you have a chance to really embark upon and embrace the energy of free will. And that's what this is all about. So rather than showing up after the month has started and kind of everybody trying to catch up to what's going on, you really are getting some advance notice, and that's the real power in doing these early. So I hope you enjoy it. And whether you happen to tune in late or watch it on the replay or you're watching with me live, we're still going to have that energy and opportunity of kind of connecting as a community, and that's also something that I'm enjoying. So thank you all for being present. I appreciate it. Thank you, Ryan and Maria, as well, for helping out this morning. Our moderators will keep everything organized. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to them while I'm talking. One thing I want to remind you, everything is going to be live this month. So all 12 readings are going to be in the same format that they were in the previous month. So I hope you're enjoying that. There's a link on my website where you can see all of the upcoming dates. And I'll go ahead and put placeholder videos in the coming days so that you can bookmark that and set a reminder as you did before. You can always use these readings for your sun, your rising, and your moon, or any part of your chart that really feels like it's something that resonates. I know there were some questions earlier. I was saying that I always feel, especially as I'm getting older, that I really relate to my ascending. So I make sure that I tune into that so that I know what's going on with business or how people are perceiving me. So whatever you happen to feel like you want to watch, especially sun, rising, and moon, this can be used for that. I set them up with the sun sign in sort of the main purpose of them, but you can really use it for whatever you need to, because it's a resource that can be very malleable in that perspective. One of the things that I like about live chats as well is that if you enjoy what you're doing, or what I'm doing here rather, and you want to give back, Super Chat is a great way to show love and support. There's stickers, there's other things that you can do with Super Chat, and you can just say thank you. All of that helps me continue to create the time to do this and also keep the supplies up to date. So in advance, I'd just like to say thanks for anybody that wants to do that. Welcome back to everyone that's been with me for a long time. It's so good to see many familiar faces in the chat. And also for those of you that comment after the video is done, I really enjoy reading what you think about this, so thank you. And if you're brand new, I'd like to give you a quick overview of what we're going to do this month. One thing I want to talk about before I even go into the format is that manifesting is really what's key. And this month, as I was working on your sign, actually, the word that I'm going to write it down right now because I was metamorphosis is what came through, and I really want us to focus on this opportunity for you to kind of come out of your shell or come out of the cocoon. And if I can any way, shape, form help you with that this month, I'm going to do that. That's your channeled message for this month. And then you gave me the inspiration, Aries, to really focus also on manifestation. So one thing that I'd like to carry over from what I was doing with the January live readings that I did in December is to have a meditation at the end. So we'll pull 2 or 3 cards and see what it is that you can do to unlock your ability to manifest. So stick around, we'll have a meditation. We'll also be pulling a few extra cards to see how you can get into that energy of manifestation. And now for the rest of you that are new, let me just go into the format. I like to begin with a channeled message. And after the channeled message, I will go into a Celtic cross and then expand the forecast to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. If you want to learn how you can get involved, book an appointment, or give back to the channel, I'll talk a little bit more about that at the end. But for now, I'd like to really talk about this month, what's coming through for the month of February. And because many of you are actually watching this in January, that means that you have the ability, like I said, to really put forth some free will and allow for really your energy to affect how quickly things happen. That's why we're showing up here. So as I said, metamorphosis.
Okay.
Oh, we have Siri in the background saying hi. Metamorphosis is the word that I was focusing on for you. And when I wrote this down, what I really saw was sort of like a cocoon or wings coming out, kind of an outstretching or an opening. And so for you this month, I feel like many of you might be holding on to something in your life where it's in the past, it's felt very, very safe or very predictable. And I've talked before that change can sometimes be an unshackling or a revealing. So for you this month, I'm kind of encouraging you to break free and know that if you ever watch a video on the sort of process of metamorphosis, it's fascinating because the caterpillar or any sort of insect that goes through this, it's actually like they change from the inside out. So when they shed their skins, the internal work has already been done. And I think one of the messages for your sign this month in particular is do the work internally. Once you've come to terms with who you are, what it is you want to do, and how you want to do that, then the breakthrough, that moment where you just kind of show it, should be easy and should be fun because you feel confident in what it is. So it's the work that happens beforehand. Once that sort of insect puts itself in the cocoon, that's the tough part. So I feel like some of you this month are somewhere in the process of getting ready to break free or break out. And that's actually what I'm going to write down in the channeled writing here. So I think the key thing is to break free. But this is part of the process of metamorphosis, of growing, of expanding. And once you do that, the image that I'm seeing is like a moth, a butterfly, a phoenix, a reinvention of who you were into what you want to become. But this month, especially when we do the meditation on manifestation, we'll look and see what we can do on the reprogramming. And I think that it's that reprogramming part that is hard for us because it's easy to see what we want in the distance and think, I want that. But doing the work to kind of figure out how to open up and how to unlock the passageway to allow it to come in easier, that's where the magic happens. And later when we do the meditation and when I pull some cards on manifestation, especially after I see everything that's coming through for you, hopefully I can help clarify that, okay? Let's go ahead now and shuffle the cards and see what the message is as far as the highs, the lows, and any of the sort of granular details are for the month, and then I'll expand the forecast as well. All right, I'm going to turn the camera down. At this point, I just ask that you remain quiet like me, and then I will come back afterwards and really break down each and every message for the month ahead. All right, thank you for being patient while I pulled all of the cards. By the way, if you want to see this, just stick around until the end because I also pull the camera down and I do a review after we're finished so that you, for those of you that kind of geek out on cards and the placement, you'll have a chance to look at that again. So let's start with your catalyst for this month. For me, the catalyst message is a way to connect all of what we're looking at here. In many ways, it's the most important message, maybe next to that idea of being able to break free or to sort of grow and come out of your shell to manifest, to be in metamorphosis. So your message here is actually very interesting because on some levels, it's the antithesis of what I was talking about. We have ordinariness, which is a very wordy word. But with this, I'm seeing safety, predictability. And that was one aspect of what I was talking about. And the interesting thing is that we have a card here that also shows needing to break away from the predictable. And in this particular deck, this is death reversed, even though it kind of has some elements of what I would see in a devil card. This is stagnation. And so what we're seeing here is that sometimes picking the path that is ordinary, predicted, expected, can lead to stagnation. So the way to flip that card around, or to kind of make it transformation instead of death, because you have both energies available whenever you have the death card, is to really focus on doing the unexpected, and trying to find a way to sort of be uncomfortable with ambiguity, because that's part of change. And that's probably the hardest thing for any of us that have faced a change in our life, whether it's looking at a relationship and thinking, I've outgrown it, but what happens when I don't have this in my life? Am I going to be okay with being alone? Same thing with a job sometimes. You look at that paycheck and you think, this is really something that I want to see coming in every month, but I can't deal with the drama. So for some of you, there's a level of comfort and a level of stagnation that over the course of February, and even a little bit earlier, since you're watching this in January, you have a chance to deal with it, to let it sort of get out of your way, because 2020 is so powerful. That's what we saw in both the December and January readings. Gateway opportunities are abounding. So I don't want you to be held back by a fear of change. And I think that's the first message. Let's look here at the center card, which not only is the heart of the spread, but also showing like where your power is this month. Your power is in your passion. We have the 9 of Cups here, but notice that it's a very, very sort of psychic card. It almost looks like the High Priestess. And when you're in that highest energy, seeing the positive in things, 9 of Cups can be a very, very positive and powerful card, then you're able to manifest. She's a manifester here. I definitely see High Priestess energy. And so I think for you, one of the first messages that I get for you, and the most important thing, is don't let anybody take away your sort of permission or opportunity to celebrate a success, to do something you love, to really connect with something that matters to you. Sometimes there are people in our lives that, there was a term like earlier in the 2000s, that term frenemy. If you have someone that, or a fair weather friend, they're only there when things are good, or if you start to kind of get ahead, then they start to step in and make you feel like you're doing something wrong. This is a time where everybody should be celebrating everybody's success. And if people around you are successful, be happy for them, be in that energy, be in that light, and you'll have your moment too. But if people can't celebrate your success, there's a problem there. So stay in the light, stay in the positive energy. And if you have to pull away from people that are unable to celebrate, then that's okay, because I think your power this month is to stay in the upright position of the 9 of Cups, which is looking at the positive, celebrating successes, and not focusing on that 10% or 1%, because it can be taken either way with this card, where there's always going to be a naysayer. Even as I changed the format, there's some people that love it, some people that hate it, but overall it's been very supportive, and I can't pay attention to that. And in my own life, it's the same sort of thing. You have to kind of forge onward and upward. And I think for you, this is what the message is. So focus on why you're doing it. If it feels right, if you're doing it for the right reasons, things are going to work out. And you have to, at the end of the day, trust yourself. So this is where your power is going to come in. Don't worry. Don't give too much energy in sort of like approval or decision-making, or even just peer pressure this month. You have the power here in your heart to move the needle forward. I hope that makes sense. There is someone earlier was asking, will I travel? Guess what? We got the 6 of Swords here. So yes, there is a good chance that many of you will be traveling. It could also be traveling for fun, because the center card is one of celebration, relaxation, enjoyment. It also tells me that even if this trip or this separation or this opportunity comes in an unexpected way, if you approach it positively, if you try to have fun with it, good things can come as a result. So this could be an unexpected journey or move, but it could also be really advantageous. So sometimes the best things are surprises, and we have to just kind of roll with that energy. And yes, there are going to be good days and bad days, but the good days seem to be outnumbering the bad with the 9 of Cups at the center. So I really like the overall energy that I'm seeing for you over the course of next month. So stick with that sort of hope and that and that idea that it's going to be good, that February is going to be amazing. Okay, so what are you bringing into February, and what can you do for those of you that are watching in January to positively affect it? Balance. This is what your deep past message is. The Two of Pentacles for many of you is an understanding of what it is that you want to do. And this is something that you also need to kind of like let go of or shift a little bit. This Two of Pentacles reminds me a lot of even like the Six of Pentacles, which is just making smart choices. As long as you know how to keep everything in order, you're going to be okay. Both the Two of Pentacles and the Six of Swords are travel cards. So some of you may have actually 2 trips, or you may find yourself over the course of the month just constantly commuting or walking or traveling between different destinations. So I think that your time management, your energy management, and of course your money management are going to be really important. Keep it all together, and I think you're going to be okay. In fact, as we look at recent past, which is also going to be bringing you like in the beginning of in February and also the end of January, you're going to have this chance to kind of be juggling all of this. It's exciting. The Eight of Wands is really good for anybody, whether you're a small business person. This shows that, email inbox is full, the phone is ringing, your messages are full. For people that are just trying to kind of, find activities in their life, it's showing that there's a lot of things that could really kind of excite you and feed your heart and your soul. So it's really about being discerning and finding what's deserving of your time, energy, and attention. Again, going back to the balance. So I actually like what I'm seeing here. There's a little bit of a juggling act, but there's a lot of opportunities. And I feel for some of you, it's just trying not to spread yourself too thin. That's the big message here. Because when I see Two of Pentacles and Eight of Wands, that just means that you could find yourself overcommitting if you're not careful. Overcommitting socially, too many parties, doing too much at work, trying to take on too much to impress people. At school, the same thing, not having balance between, your work, what you're trying to do for school, and maybe your social life. You've got to find a way to bring it all together. For those of you that are retired, this is also showing that there's just a lot of diversions in your life right now. You could find that your family needs you, that you want to do other things. And again, it's about trying to kind of tune out some of the noise. Your crowning card is showing that it feels like you're sitting on the precipice of a big breakthrough financially. You have some very positive cards, but they're all reversed. So to me, that doesn't read as debt, that reads as opportunity. I had a client the other day and I read for them, and I think it was actually 5 times I got the Ten of Pentacles in reverse in the outcome. One time it was upright. And it was the first time in years of reading that I ever kept getting that same sort of message. And they had all of these projects that they were kind of working on and trying to figure out how to make happen. And I thought, wow, you have all this great potential. So I'm seeing a little bit of that with you, because we have in the crowning position, we have the King of Pentacles. He's reversed. We have that Ten of Pentacles in the ego. And then we also have the Eight of Pentacles, which is in an opportunity. So I see something really big that you're thinking about day to day, and then a couple of smaller things that are churning. So if you're a small business person, wow, a lot that is probably unconfirmed or unsubstantiated. There's all these things that could happen. I would say get a good lawyer, get a good project manager, get some people to sign some contracts, because you've got all of these opportunities floating, but no one's committed. For people that are at work, there's a big growth opportunity for you. And I think there's some competition, because the Ten of Pentacles can be all of your coworkers or peers. And so don't be afraid to step up and say, I want a chance to do this, because that power, that vocalization is what's going to make you stand out of the crowd, or show through your resume or through your work experience why you should be taken into consideration for this role. So I think there's a lot of great potential as far as growth and opportunity, and it's about getting a handle on it. Don't let things slip away this month. So organization, getting ample sleep, and again, not overcommitting are key, because you don't want to let any of these things slip away. Just getting to basics with the King of Pentacles card. Whenever I look at this, it's a card of house and home, whether it's the king or the queen. It really has to do with domestic comfort. And so there could be an investment in the house that needs to be done. So if you're a homeowner or even a renter, there's something going on that needs repair or needs your attention. So if you're renting, or if you have a condo and there's like a homeowners association or something, there's something that you need to do to engage someone to take a look at it and get it fixed. If you have your own house, there might be something that you've been putting off. Maybe it's like a new roof or new carpeting or new flooring. there's something that you can do to kind of make sure that in the future you'll get more resale value, or that you'll avoid something from kind of breaking down. So preventative maintenance is key this month. When we're looking at health, for those of you that don't own a house, aren't renting, this can also just be about not going to extremes, because the King of Pentacles in reverse usually has to do with we're all feeling the pain after the holidays, like having eaten too much, or basically putting too much excess. Sometimes I see it with the King of Cups, but definitely King of Pentacles, and it usually has to do with diet. So really just be mindful of what you're putting in your body this month. A little less will be good. A little bit more that's, I guess, like whole foods and detox, no refined sort of foods. It's going to be really key for you. And of course, this is a month where you want to be careful of big purchases. So I love that I see opportunities to make money, but when it comes to spending money, I think this month you want to be careful. And if there's a chance to put something, like if there's a 0 interest installment plan that you can work out with the bank, if you're getting a loan, whatever it is, make sure you've got the lowest APR, the best rate possible. Do your homework, because in the same respect, when I'm looking at different opportunities, I'm also seeing that you could save a lot of money by shopping around. There's a percentage rate sort of game that's going on here, and you should get at least 3. So if you're looking for a first mortgage, if you're looking to consolidate debt, if you're looking for some way to maximize your money, it looks like your bank or your investment or something along those lines could work for you a little bit more than it is. So do your research there, okay? Looking at near future, we have the Chariot in reverse. And so, there are 2 ways of looking at this. One is it's time to let go of some things, right? Because this is a card of control. So you can look at things that you've been holding on to because they're comfortable, because they're expected, because it makes you feel like you're fitting in. Maybe let go of that sort of level of comfort and step into a little bit of discomfort, but an opportunity to grow or push through that cocoon that I was seeing when I was meditating. For the rest of you, especially when I'm looking at finances and career, it's about grabbing on to what you want. So that old adage of a door closing and another one opening, same thing here. When you let go of something, you make room for something new, but you're going to have to go for it. So the other thing with manifestation, which we'll talk about after we do the reading and we're doing the meditation, there is this very important piece of letting go after you decide what you want and set everything up. So the law of detaching from something, the law of detachment. So you set your goal into motion. You lay out the all of the sort of framework, and you start moving on that path. But you don't feel that sense of desperation, need, or desire. You just think, I'm ready for it, and it can happen now. And then you start to kind of change your focus and work on something else. And in the back of your mind, you just think, I know it's going to happen. It's going to happen. But you're not thinking, I need it to happen. It must happen. So we'll talk about that when we meditate. It's playing a spiritual hard to get a little bit with the universe saying, I'm ready, but I don't need it. And then the universe is like, well, maybe you do need it. And then it comes faster. So I know it's a little bit contradictory, but that's kind of how the law of detachment works. So we'll talk later. And like I said, I'm going to do a separate video on manifestation. So that'll help you too. So you can meditate, and then there'll be another like homework video if you want to watch that, maybe a deeper meditation in that as well. You've got a lot of friends and family that want to tap into your energy this month. Some of them actually may have a job opportunity for you, or a great, something like a great idea of what you could get involved with. As I said earlier, make sure that it balances out for you. So with the 10 of Pentacles in reverse, this can also show that someone's not seeing your full worth, or might be trying to get you for less than your worth. So for a job, for instance, this could be the negotiation process. They're maybe trying to get you down 10% of what they know that you should get paid. So do your research in that particular situation and really stand firm on what you want. You may not get exactly everything, but I think you could get closer to what you want than they're willing to give you with the first round. So there might be a couple rounds of back and forth negotiation when it comes to agreeing to do a job or signing a contract. And that's going to be really, really important. So don't give your time and energy away. Be willing to say no if it's something that feels like you just can't do it. It's hard, right? It's hard to sometimes just say, I'm too tired, or let's do it next week, or no, I can't do this. But it lets that other person find the right conduit. So in the end, it's actually the best thing to do. It's just hard to let the words come out of your mouth sometimes. So you'll find the right way if it is the right thing to do. As we look at your environment, I really want you to focus this month on quality of sleep and also sleep environment. So we have the Nine of Swords. The good thing with the Nine of Swords is that things are usually better than they seem. This is a card where sometimes we work ourselves into a feeling of dread, of concern, of discomfort or disease, or unease, I guess. And you're just sort of feeling like this sense of, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to do it. Take a deep breath. We can all do it right now too. Just kind of go, let it all go, let the posture go, let it kind of slip away, all of that fear, all of that doubt, all of that dread. Breathe. Definitely before you go to sleep, take 2 or 3 deep breaths and really just feel like, I can do this. Tomorrow's a new day. And if it's like 10 o'clock at night, just think, I'm 2 or 3 hours away from a brand new clean slate. Let's just make tomorrow better. So there's nothing wrong with being in the moment and acknowledging that you went through a tough day. I think that sometimes all of us as light workers, as spiritual beings, we want to immediately jump to the good. When something comes through where it doesn't feel good, where we feel pain, where we feel loss, where we feel doubt or frustration, there's a teaching moment there that's coming through. And I think that because that's in the environment, there's something around you that really wants to fall away or wants you to kind of like wake up. When you can go through and figure out what's triggering me, why am I feeling the discomfort? That's when you can alleviate it. That's how you let go of that shadow energy. So if there's something that's stressing you out, first of all, don't beat yourself up for being stressed. Don't get stressed because you're stressed and can't get into a zen. Just breathe through it. Think about what the source is. Send love, light, and healing to the source. Love yourself. Really just try to give it some space and distance, because by the way, that is what the Six of Swords has to do with walking away or pushing distance between you and something that you don't need. So maybe it is time for a vacation for some of you. If you're a workaholic and you've been like nonstop trying to make everything happen, your productivity could take a hit, your health could take a hit. And when we're looking at the environment, the world will survive without you for a week or two. So do what you have to do in order to get back to your place of healthiness, happiness, and it's the right thing to do for you and for everyone if that's the case. So yeah, just self-care. The other thing on a lighter level, make sure you're getting enough sleep. Nine of Swords can just show fatigue. It can also show that your bedroom could use a cleaning. So you could smudge it. You could just rearrange the furniture a little bit so that you're changing up the energy. If you haven't changed your linen, or maybe even like more importantly, the comforter, because sometimes we keep a comforter for many, many years. And just think of all the things that you've gone through in your life while that comforter's been on your bed. It might be time to go and dry clean it or just replace it outright. I think it's a good habit every 2 years, probably, just to get a brand new comforter, because you want to change up the energy. And also look at the color of the bedspread. I think that when you're looking at a place of sleep, you want a really soothing color there. So something like green or blue or white, those are really, really nice. If there's another, actually even purple or violet, anything like that would also be fine, because they're spiritually protected colors. Probably don't want red. You probably don't want something really bright or obnoxious. You want something soothing. So find a color that works for you, because you're wrapping your aura in that color, and that's really important. Okay. Looking at opportunities, Eight of Pentacles. Some of you might be deciding to go to school, to learn something new, to even just kind of geek out on anything and decide, I want to, maybe learn salsa dancing, or learn how to read cards, or explore Reiki and see if I connect with that energy. Do it because you love it. As I said earlier, with the Nine of Cups at the center, it's the passion that matters. And by the way, I just noticed this on the crystal that she's holding. You see a little ladybug? To me, that's actually one of my power symbols, because whenever I've seen a ladybug in my life, it tells me that things are going to be okay. And because that's a symbol for me, I'm going to share that with you, that if there's something going on that you're worried about. For me, actually, the day that I adopted my dog, and he's in the background, I know you all like to see Apollo, he's right there. There was actually, I wasn't sure if I was going to be accepted for that adoption process. They actually had to meet me. I had to meet with the dog, all of that. But I saw a couple of ladybugs that day as I was waiting. They landed on me or they were nearby, and I knew it was going to be okay. And in my life, if I'm having a rough day, ladybugs, hummingbirds, all of those in particular are reminders that you're fine. Don't worry about it. So I'm going to relay that message to you because I noticed it. I almost didn't see it the first time, but I see it now. So there's a hidden blessing. Something's going to come through this month in a nice way. February is going to have some sort of a blessing for you. So just stay in that energy of waiting for it to happen. And that's part of manifesting, expecting something good to happen. So I had moved it, but I had a little sticky here for about 6 months that said, expect something wonderful. So I think that you can still hold that in your heart. Just expect any day, good news is going to come your way. And that sets the universe up too. Like today could be the day. I'm ready for it. Okay. And ultimately, we have an end of stagnation in your life. This particular deck chooses to call death like the Lord of Shadows. So I think that's interesting because shadows are sometimes necessary. Like we have to move through the shadow for growth. And also when we think of the energy of creation, everything started with darkness and light came through it. So darkness or an empty state or kind of waiting, it's not a bad thing. Sometimes waiting sets you up. It prepares you for that supernova of energy that probably is going to come through for many of us in 2020. So if you're feeling a little bit of a lull right now, it's the calm before the storm. That's the message with this, because everything else in your reading has been very positive. So there is something stagnant that you're going to have a chance to release over the course of February. Because you're looking at this in January, you may even be able to get a head start on that. And for those of you that are watching this a little bit later, look at what's going on in your life and think, where do I feel like I'm just not seeing a return on my investment? Because we had a lot of financial cards coming through, which are resources, which are energy. And you need to find more balance. And all of the key sort of growth cards were reversed. So for me, that means that there's either a hesitation to make the change or there's people around you that don't have the vision to see what you can do. And if that's the case, then you have to take ownership and do it yourself. Maybe there's an entrepreneurial opportunity on the horizon for you, etc. So overall, growth, a little bit of initiative needed on your part to make it happen, but I really like what I'm seeing. And I love the ladybird symbol there because that's telling me that something great is on the horizon. So let's expand the forecast now. I'm going to look at each of these cards and gives me an additional lens as we look at health, wealth, love, and destiny in this expanded forecast. Health to me is far more than just what's going on in your body. I'll look at the cards separately after I look at this particular message to see if there's something that I missed. But for me, health is mind, body, and spirit. And oftentimes the way we feel in our heart, the way our mind is programmed to look at things and process things, that's going to be far more important to our general health than maybe, just what our body's saying. So energy, beliefs, emotions, these things are going to be probably the most important. So we have a card that's in reverse. It says sanctuary, but there's a hermiting energy to this because the top word says cave. So for many of you, by the way, there's a lot of subtle images that are coming through this month. So I'm going to say another thing, which is to really be present, like put down your phone, put down your iPad, really have eye contact, listen, look around, because I feel like there's symbols and opportunities that are abounding this month. You have to pay attention. Even as I'm reading these cards, I'm noticing little things, and more so than usual for your sign. So I think really kind of tuning in is going to be key. Notice that little helping hand here in the corner. It's really, I'm surprised I saw it. It's right there. So there's someone that feels like they're isolated. They're in this cave. They're in this sort of place where nobody can reach them. But someone's there, someone's trying. So the first thing that I'm seeing for those of you that are feeling sad, depressed, alone, a little bit cut off, you have someone in your periphery that really wants to be there if you can let them. So there might be hesitation in allowing them to be there. And it cuts the other way too, which is that some of you might have a friend or a family member that needs help but won't receive it from you. And in that case, maybe you can talk to someone else that they care about, or maybe there's a need for an intervention or something like that. But it feels like that breakthrough is going to be important for you or for the other person. So for yourself, just open up, let someone in. I feel like you've done a great job in the past of being there for friends and family. So this is a chance for them to reciprocate and to invest in you. The fact also, by the way, that I saw all of those cards, the King, the 10, and the 8 of Pentacles in reverse means it's time to take care of you. King of Pentacles, eating better, taking care of your body. 10 of Pentacles, making sure that people are giving you what you've given them. 8 of Pentacles, learning something new, expanding your thoughts and your horizons. So this is a month of investment when it comes to your health and your happiness and your well-being. I already talked about getting good sleep, and I think that that's the key thing here. The last thing for some of you is with the stagnation card, this can just show that your routine overall needs a change. So if you've been working out and you're not noticing any difference in your body or in your weight or whatever, it means try something different, use a different technique. If you're feeling bored, maybe bored at work or bored in a relationship, it means that it's time to really change things up, change up the routine. So what worked last year won't work this year, not only because we're having a paradigm shift and a decade shift, but also because you've changed. You've got to break free of what you had in the past that is kind of holding you back. And that's what we see here. And that was part of the channeled message. Looking at wealth, it's time to decide. And it feels like it's overdue. It says, make a decision based on your heart's true desires, which was that central message that I had with the 9 of Cups. As long as you are heart-centric in your decision, you're fine. But for some of you, it's a time or an opportunity to say goodbye, or to move on, or to move up. Movement, that's the key thing. You can't stand still. This is a year of change when it comes to either what you're doing for a living or how you're doing that. So hopefully that makes sense for you. Looking at love this month, just giving yourself permission here. The card was reversed, but I want to read it upright. It says, it's safe for you to love. Open your heart to give and receive the highest energy of all, which is love, of course. I believe love is the currency of the universe. And if you really are coming from a place of unconditional love, then it has no end. It has no beginning. There is no sort of finite amount on that. You can always have more love. As we see with philanthropists and things like that, there's a constant energy of you get exactly what you give right back. So I want you this month to just think, I'm ready to receive. And I think that could be part of the programming for manifestation, because it looks like some of you might be in a mode where you're either a caretaker, you might be overachieving, or you might be trying to get the approval of others. So love yourself and think, I'm ready now to be loved for who I am. I'm more than enough. That sense of self-worth will set you up for success elsewhere. And that could be the pattern that you need to break for many of you. So interesting, as we look at your final card, whenever I look at destiny, I mentioned this in that video that I talked about. I was featured in Vanity Fair, and I talked about that I think free will is really, really important here. And what we have here is that it's time to leave this unhealthy situation. Destiny is malleable, and I feel like for many of you, you know that you need to change something, but I can only set up the sort of the roadmap for you here, but I feel like there is hesitation. So we've got a lot of indications that it's okay. And this is saying that when you leave, we saw 2 or 3 things that want to open up. For some of you, it could be a new relationship. It could be a new job. It could also be a new place to live. But the first thing is a decision that I'm okay. I'm going to walk away and everything is going to be fine, if not better, because I've made this decision to take care of myself. So you have a choice, though. Destiny is a choice. And that's what I said in the video that I posted a couple of days ago. Free will basically is the most important thing. It's kind of like that catalyst card. You get a choice. If you don't do it, I can't help you there. But I think that if you're willing to take that leap of faith, some really great things are on the horizon for you. So let's go ahead and review what we talked about, and then we'll get to some fun information on manifestation. I'll pull a few cards and we'll meditate. We'll really try to get February where you want it. For some of you, it might be love, because we associate that with Valentine's Day and things like that. But for some of you, it might be bigger. It could be something that you're really trying to change in your life. So while I do the review, think of what you eventually want to manifest. That'll help me when I'm pulling the cards and also when I do the meditation. All right. So I mentioned earlier, there were like 3 words that came to me. The first was manifestation. The other one was metamorphosis, but I actually did this live this time, which was, I think it's important for you to break free this month. Unshackle whatever has sort of been holding you back. And we saw a lot of cards here. Time to decide. It's time to unleash this unhealthy situation. And then we also have a card of separation, but it's very much on your own will here. Six of Swords, unlike the Tower, unlike death, unlike any of those sort of more dramatic cards, means that you always have the choice to do it and you can set the trajectory. These two cards are navigation, right? Six of Swords, you're just like this nautical person, sailor, whatever. You get to basically take that ship where you want it. And with this, you're literally pulling the horses in the direction that you want. So there's a couple of choices you have to make, though. Once you've made those choices, things start to shift in a positive way for you. When we looked at the catalyst, though, there's a comfort level that you're going to have to kind of walk away from. This sort of, it's like the blanket that we have when we're a kid. At a certain point, we let go of that blanket. So I think it's kind of like time to grow up, put the blanket in the closet and think, I'm now ready to step out into the unknown. Maybe not everyone's going to understand me, but it's going to feel right. It's going to be right. Balance is important. Investing in yourself is important. Getting a return on others' energy that you've kind of helped out in the past, making sure that there's just reciprocity. In other words, that's going to be key this month. Eating better, of course, really, really important. Making sure that if you're negotiating contracts, that people are not trying to get you too cheaply or are not really paying you for what you're worth. You don't want that to happen. So step up, stand up to that kind of energy. And don't be afraid of the unknown. I think the Nine of Swords can also just be fear of the unknown. Remember that when you stay in the positive energy, that positive energy is really your power this month. And it also brings you luck, as we saw with the ladybug there. You make your own luck. I strongly believe that, actually. Eight of Pentacles, investing in yourself in a way of like learning something new. Whatever you decide to put your time and energy in, I see a return happening. And I think the key thing for you is a change. You have to change something that used to work but no longer works, and you already know what that is. So just have the give yourself the permission to take that leap if you need to. Unexpected help is right around you. We saw it with this little hidden hand here in the corner. For some of you, you need to go into a sort of space of kind of like the Hermit or the Hierophant, where you want to pull yourself back from people, learn about spirituality, learn about yourself. But there is a warning here to not do it for too long and to not maybe walk away from a really great opportunity as well. There's someone there that wants to give a helping hand. Decision is always in your hands, but when we're looking at wealth, there's a chance to try something new. Be happy, be in a state of love. So either do what you love if you're not really focusing on relationship energy, or love yourself if you're trying to pull someone into your life. And part of that love may mean walking away, or may also mean just kind of being at a standstill for a little bit, but knowing that it won't be that way forever. This is a plateau, not a full stop. And ultimately, again, movement, shifting. That's the ultimate destiny card this month. So I like what I see for your sign. I think there's some really great things ahead. All right, let's get on to manifesting. So I'm going to pull 3 cards, and I want to look at past, present, and future with manifesting. And I think that because we have the 9 of Cups at the center, love, happiness, celebration, that high frequency of really feeling it is what's going to be important when you manifest. So if you want money, try to find something that brings you satisfaction to create the money. Don't just think about the money. If you want love, really focus on self-love first and opening yourself up to be in a place of receiving. Also, if you're trying to manifest love, really be discerning. Don't just say, send me a woman, a man, or whatever. Just say, I'm ready for the highest possible love. Send me a partner, not a teacher. There's a lot of things that we can do. And maybe as I do the manifestation, I'll break it into like love, wealth, and opportunity, because I think that will kind of cover all the bases. Okay, let's pull the cards. Take a deep breath and see what's coming through for your sign, past, present, future influences, and any messages around manifestation. Okay, we have Ace of Cups. I'm going to pull the 3 cards first. Knight of Cups. A lot around love. That doesn't surprise me for February. and the Hanged Man. Okay. They're all reversed. I'm going to pull them upright because when they're all reversed, to me, it's just we're manifesting energy that hasn't quite come through yet, so it's not as important. But I'll talk about the reversals and how you can pull them upright. It just makes it easier to see the cards as I'm talking. So the Ace of Cups. This is exactly what we were talking about. And on some levels, this is kind of like the missing cup from the center, because Nine of Cups is near completion, but it's not quite there. So I think for many of you, what's missing in your life? That would be the first message when it comes to manifesting something that you want. It could be just joy. Like many of you, I had just a regular 9-to-5 job that wasn't feeding my soul. And at a certain point, I just felt like I need more. And I was inspired to try something different. So it could be boredom or a feeling like you're not feeling it anymore. Something that you start maybe 20 years in the past, as you get down a journey in life, it's like, I don't like this anymore. It could be school, it could be work, it could be a relationship, because you've grown apart. So find your love, find your mojo, find your passion. That's the first thing. What brings you joy? And a lot of times when I do a coaching session with somebody, I'll ask them, I'll say, if you could just have like a magic credit card that would pay for everything, you didn't have to worry about it, what would you do in your life to spend time? We could take the sort of money out of the equation, and that frees people up a little bit. So think about that. And as you meditate, we'll attach to that. But I think joy, love, and passion, that's the first message. And it feels like you had it in the past. This is a past influence. So you know what you love, you know what works for you. But as we look at the present here, we have the Knight of Cups, and it was reversed, which means maybe you stepped away from that. It's time to step back into it. Because that Ace of Cups was reversed, many of you have been in a place in your life where you've given to other people. You're a healer, you're a teacher, you're a mother, you're a father, or you're someone who you're always listening. So time to fill those two cups up and really get to a place of happiness. The fact that the Hanged Man was reversed is actually fortuitous, because that, just like the Death card, means an end to stagnation, an end to having to wait. And so as we manifest in the meditation, I really want you to think it's going to happen. It's happening now. The illusion that, this elusive carrot that's always out of reach, it's here. So part of it is just acknowledging that I'm ready for it now. And now means now. And that's what we can kind of say to the universe. All right. So let's go ahead now and meditate. And again, I see there's some questions. If you've watched this late, don't worry. You'll have a replay immediately when it's done. All right. So close your eyes. And if, by the way, for those of you obviously that are at work or walking and can't do the meditation now, you can enjoy that later as well. All right. So take a nice deep breath with me. As you exhale, I want you to let go of any sort of feeling of doubt, uncertainty, of not having the power to make something happen. I saw so many cards of control this month with the Six of Swords and the Chariot. There was basically all the energy you needed to shift the pendulum in the right direction. So I want you to start to feel like you have control, you have power. And it's almost like you are taking the steering wheel or taking the reins, or just kind of holding onto your heart and thinking, my heart's going to lead me in the right direction. I know I can do this. And so actually take your two hands, rub them together, put your left hand on your heart, your right hand on top of that. Really feel the energy of that heart center. Feel your heart beating. Know that it has the power every day to sustain you. It also has an ancient knowledge in it. The heart center, just like ancient Egyptians were not too far off on this. There's a wisdom to the heart. And I think we've become too practical sometimes, and we've kind of fallen away from the wisdom of the heart. So listen as we take the next breath. How do you feel? What do you want? Can you start to feed your heart so that it can be stronger, so that it can start to basically create this auric energy around you of love, of opportunity, of people wanting to be around you? Start to see this beautiful green light all around your body. That's the true color of the heart. It's not really red. It's not really pink. It's green energy, growth, abundance, opportunity. Feel that green light. Just like, even if some of you might be in winter or different season, I want you to imagine that you can see something growing, that you're holding in the palm of your hands, a seed. The seed that could be the dream, future love, future opportunity, something that you want to create in your life. As you're holding that seed against your heart, I want you to start to see that seed grow. I want you to feel that beautiful green energy go through your body, all around you, creating this beautiful shield of green light, so that everything you touch, forget the Midas touch, you're going to have this sort of green touch, this heart energy. Everything you touch will be infused with love over the course of February and even January if you're happening to watch this earlier. And think to yourself, I have the power to create change. Take a deep breath as you own that power. Feel what it is that you want to create, feel the love, and think that love will guide me on the path that I want to create, the future that I want to create. I can see it, I can feel it, and it's okay for me to want this. I give myself permission to follow my heart. Let go of your heart, put your hands in your lap, and turn your mind's eye towards the heavens. And maybe we'll kind of go with a nocturnal theme. I want to work with the stars. So now just letting your heart come back into a normal energy, allowing your auric shield to exist, but maybe not drown out the stars around you. I want you to imagine that you could create a constellation of your own. What would it look like? What would it be? And what would the sort of mythology behind it be? See yourself on a path to success. Create something in the stars, create an opportunity, write your future in the stars. And I want you to, over the course of 2020, live out that constellation, live out that light. See yourself shining and being remembered for something heroic, something amazing, something that will go down in history or be written in the stars. And I say this because I mentioned this, but we are all constituted from stardust. So it's important to occasionally look up, look around, look up at the positive, look up at that starlight and realize I have the energy to shine my energy on the universe. I can make a difference. It's not just about going to a job. I could actually change lives. I can change my life, and that could be enough, but I have to do something that I feel and something that I care about. So now look up at the stars, feel as if they are all shining down on you in this moment, recharging you, embracing you, saying hello from millions of light years away, reminding you that you have that ancient power to shine, to create, just like any star in the universe. And now look around you and imagine that this green energy has kind of created a cocoon, because that's something that I saw in the meditation earlier, was this cocoon of light or cocoon of energy. And I want you to start to feel like you're changing right here and right now. The change that you want to happen is already underway. For some of you, you might feel like you can actually even open up a little bit, spread your wings, come out of that cocoon. For some of you, you're just doing the internal work. Wherever you are on that journey, honor it. And know that over the course of February, you're going to have more and more opportunities to come out of that shell, to spread your wings. And just like a butterfly or a moth, there's going to be this beautiful new you. And this new year is not going to hold you back in the way that maybe past years have. Think finally to yourself, I'm ready for that change. I will not allow fear of the unknown hold me back. The energy of the Fool or even the World or the Death card is there to help you out. You have to take a leap of faith. You have to go through the darkness to find the light. And that's really what February is opening up for all of you. One last thing I'd like you to do is, with that green light or that starlight that you see around you, take your hands and now create a circle around you, this infinite sort of connection of energy, or you can even see yourself in a figure eight if you want to. I just want you to feel that you've created a new cycle for the new year, for the new you. And everywhere you walk, you're going to have that circle of energy or that cocoon of energy that we've built. And at some point, you're going to show your true color and believe that everybody is going to be there and celebrate that. As we saw with this center card, that joy, that power, that's really where you're going to be able to move figurative mountains in your life. This is the chance for change to happen, okay? All right, hopefully you guys enjoyed the meditation, and I'm gonna do a video about manifestation. One thing that I will say with this is that whatever it is that you want, just know that we've opened up the passageway, and you're able now to really let go of feeling like I need to make it happen, or is it gonna happen? Just feel like it's going to happen. And it's a matter of, it could be today or it could be tomorrow, but it's going to happen very, very soon. So that's one of the things that you can do to kind of play mentally with the idea that it's okay, I can do this. So whether you want love, whether you want better health, or whether you want opportunities in your life, we've set it in motion. Now you just have to show up and be positive each day and do the work. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate you being present today and partaking in this live feed. I know that Ryan's been great about being able to put all of the, and Maria as well, put all of the sort of ways to contact me. I actually don't have my cards this morning that I did my old school ones. So I'm going to talk about it and I will then make sure that I have it in the future readings. But if you want to get more information about me, what I do, etc., of course, you can go to my website. It's just myname.com. And even in the live feed, thank you, Ryan. It's already right beneath the video. When you watch this on replay, it'll also be the first card, and that's a way that you can book an appointment if you'd like to. The second card will be a way that you can become a patron, and the third card is a way to connect with me on social media. And in the links below the video, I believe the first link is actually all of the live schedules for February, and then the other 3 links are exactly as I mentioned them. Everything here is fan supported, so I want to thank anybody that's done a super chat or given back. I will scan through quickly, but I think, yeah, my chat's delayed. So in advance, I'd just like to say thank you for doing that. You can also be a patron or join me on Patreon if you'd like. I hope you're enjoying all of the live readings. It's been my pleasure. And thank all of you for showing up. It's great to see some familiar faces here too, because I see the same names from last month. So I'm so happy that you came back and enjoyed this. So much love and light. I know there's been some questions in the Q&A. If you have something that I didn't have a chance to answer, there is a contact form on my website. I'll also see if there's something here that I need to answer later. But during the reading, I don't have a chance because it takes me out of kind of the flow. And unlike some readers, this isn't a Q&A. I may do that in the future. If there's something that kind of, it feels like it's the right time to do it, I'll do a Q&A type reading. But in the meantime, thank you so much for being present. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Maria. And thank all of you for showing up and being a part of this wonderful spiritual community. I'll see everybody again later this week. I'll be posting a placeholder video for the next sign. And as I said, the schedule's there. Join me on social media, especially Instagram and Facebook, because I will put in story reminders so that you won't miss anything. All right, in the meantime, take care of yourself. Good to see everybody. And again, Happy New Year, okay?